To a brand new edition of the Rundown with Ramon. My name is Ramon Ray, your host. Glad you're here today. We have another brand new show for you today, and I'm glad you're here. By the way, I've started 5 companies, sold 3 companies, authored 5 books, and we're here to do one thing alone. That's to help you build your best business, start your best business, or just live a better life. So what are we going to cover today? Well, a lot of things we're going to cover today. One, how lifestyle content marketing can help you reach your ideal customer. What to do if your info has been exposed in a data breach. What will you do about it? Are you curious how you can make your triumphs last? A big win at work feels great until the thrill fades. What to do about it? 4 smart ways to get your social media and email marketing done. We're going to touch on those things and how to make your business stand out from the competition. 12 techniques you can think about. The double-edged sword of personal branding, balancing storytelling and ego. Leaders need to drop their egos. Here's how they can do it. How old are you in your head? The neuroscience of subjective age reveals how to stay mentally young, how to enjoy life with less money, and this nutrient deficiency could be the culprit behind your brain fog, sluggishness, and lack of concentration. Welcome again to a brand new edition of the Rundown with Ramon. I'm Ramon Ray, your host, and we have an amazing, powerful show for you today. So buckle up, hold tight as we get ready to start a brand new edition of the Rundown with Ramon. Listen, if you've joined us today and your day is not going so well, my hope for you is that your day gets just a bit better. And if you join us today and your day is going great, going fantastic, well, I'm happy that your day is going fantastically well and you can be a part of the Rundown with Ramon experience. So let's begin right now and start a brand new edition of the Rundown with Ramon. Glad you're here today. Ding, 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 ding. How lifestyle content marketing can help you reach your ideal customer. First of all, from Forbes, what is lifestyle content marketing? It's important to define what these things are. This type of marketing focuses on creating and distributing content that aligns with the interests of your target audience rather than directly promoting your product or service. You should connect with customers by providing valuable, relevant content aimed to give them information that makes their life better or addresses a specific need. So that's lifestyle content. And the Forbes writer writes, why is it important? Marketers know how important it is to connect with consumers on a personal level and create content that's relevant to their lives. Nobody wants to read content about you per se, unless it directly impacts them. Number 3, the power of lifestyle content. Lifestyle content is so impactful because it speaks directly to your customers' aspirations by tapping into their core values. It creates a deeper resonance that goes beyond the transactional nature of traditional marketing. This is the power of lifestyle content. And then the next part to consider here is tailoring content to your audience. Know what your audience wants, what's most important for them, and how you can add value to their world. Once you feel confident in how well you understand your audience, says John Hall, start aligning your brand values and messaging with their aspirations. And last but not least, forge deeper connection. So why is some lifestyle marketing important, or lifestyle content marketing important? 1, forging deeper connections. 2, tailoring content to your audience is essential. Lifestyle content definitely has power, and it's important because people want to read about them and how what you're offering can directly connect to their lives. Good day, Deborah Williams. Glad you're here today, Deborah, on the Rundown with Ramon. Ding, 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 ding. Next up, we're going to talk about what to do if your information has been exposed in a data breach. I hope this has never, ever, ever happened to you, Deborah Williams. But if your data is ever exposed and hackers get it, and there's a likely chance that it will be exposed because the growing frequency of data theft makes it less a question of if than when you or your business will be victimized and how to respond. But these are things you definitely want to consider. So 1, be aware. There's no federal law compelling companies or organizations to notify individuals of data breaches, yet there's no law. So be aware, and maybe you can have a private service or third-party services that alert you if they find your data on other parts of the internet. So be aware. Number two, change your password if your data has been exposed. And guess what? It's good to change your password every so often anyhow to better protect yourself. Keep monitoring yourself. Tell your bank and credit agencies what happens if a credit card numbers are stolen, cancel your credit cards, and etc. And I would say lastly as well, don't forget the power of two-factor authentication. Greg Baker, glad you're here today, Greg, on the Rundown with Ramon. Don't forget the power of two-factor authentication so that when you log on to a site, Deborah Williams, and again, glad you're here today on the Rundown with Ramon, when you log on to one of your sites, your cell phone is sent a text message to enter into a code, or you're emailed and asked to enter into a code. This will help keep the applications that many of us go to much more secure. Again, welcome to a brand new edition of the Rundown with Ramon. Ding, 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 ding. This is an interesting topic. Wall Street Journal talks about this, writer Rachel Feinzig. Make your triumphs last. So you're at work, something great happened, but then you lose that high and you feel kind of sad after a while. Something good happened, but the thrill fades fast. It's over. A big win feels great, but then there's the come down praise, pitter patters out. Question you may ask yourself is, what gets me feeling that again? How do you feel great all the time? The science of the come down. Here's what the writer says in the Wall Street Journal. To head off a come down, it helps to see it coming. We're generally flooded with hormones like adrenaline and cortisol as we're building toward a big moment, says Karen Howes, a sports psychologist. Our bodies can't maintain that heightened state for long when the thing, be it your Olympic debut or that big PowerPoint presentation, recedes. Your fight or flight response usually does too. It often leaves a feeling of loss and boredom in its wake, says Howells, a senior lecturer at Cardiff Metropolitan University in Wales. The pressure isn't all in our heads. Somebody here says people take the behavior of scrolling to the next reel. They kind of apply that to their life, always wanting a high, a high, a high. But that doesn't always happen. It's okay to breathe and celebrate the success you have. One of the headlines here say, break out of a creative rut. To get your next big idea, you have to be okay with bombing a bit, says Jeremy Utley, a general partner at a venture capital firm. If you want to succeed and get ahead, you have to be willing to understand that things are not going to always be at a high. Sometimes life is going to, as Lamar Tyler says, life is going to be lifing. Another part of this is the downside of praise. Sometimes the kudos we get from the big win are part of the problem. We derive our self-esteem from external feedback, then feel terrible when the congratulatory notes dry up. So here's the rub. Here's the question of the day. We like high-level praise. All the time, it's not going to come. Most of the time, it's not going to come. So you have to be self-reliant on yourself to still be positive about life. Ray Drummond, glad you're here today in the Rundown with Ramon. Good day to you. Greg Becker, glad you're here again on the Rundown with Ramon. Journal your wins, then revisit these wins. Scott Simons, always good to see you here, brother. Thanks for joining me earlier. Appreciate you so much. Good day to you, Scott Simons. Indeed. The highs aren't going to always be there, but it's important to have that self-resilience in yourself, that self-resilience in you to make things happen and keep things moving along. This makes life amazing, everybody. Welcome to a brand new edition of the Rundown with Ramon. Get to know me better at RamonRay.com. Get to know me better at zoneofgenius.com. And let me know how I can serve you and help your life go better. Ding, 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 ding. 4 smart ways to get your social media and email marketing done. 4 smart ways to do this right. It's Bianca Schwartpaul of Brains. Number 1, plan ahead. I do a lot of my social media posting and things sporadically, or not sporadically. I do it very consistently, but I do it in the moment. But that's me. But as I'm working on some new things, building some other things, I'm going to be planning them. Number 2, schedule your content. Leveraging content scheduling tool can dramatically improve your marketing efficiency. Number 3, create a content archive. A content archive of content you've already done. And number 4, repurpose social media content for email newsletters. You already have great content out there. Can you extend it just a bit and put it into an email newsletter? Email marketing is still a powerful force. And those who are leveraging it more and more and more, in the end, they will win Greg Becker. They will win Ray Drummond. They will win Scott Simons. They will win Deborah Williams. Email marketing and social media marketing are still absolutely important to do. Ding, 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 ding. Next up, we're going to touch on how to make your business stand out from the competition. There is all kind of competition all around us. How do you stand out? I bet there's 500 other people that do what Greg Becker does. I bet there's 500 other people that do what Ray Drummond does. I bet there's 500 other people that do, well, what Scott Simon does. Probably not too many other people. Probably just him. He's in a class by himself. But how do you stand out from the competition? One, the power of niching down. As small business owners, we can't afford to serve all things to all people. Number two, showcase the people behind the business. Behind the scenes footage is amazing. Highlight unique product features. Offer personalized experiences. Build a community around your brand. Integrate social responsibility into the company's mission. Focus on a specific customer group. Share successful case studies. Infuse products with interactive experiences. Give people a peek behind the scenes. This is kind of like behind the scenes we already mentioned. Educate customers about your business and connect emotionally through the power of storytelling. Telling a story is a way to connect. Just a few years ago, I was working at the United Nations. True story. Worked there for many, many years. In fact, I was one of the youngest hires at the United Nations. The United Nations has very, very strict rules about having a side business, a side hustle. They want your full time devoted to them, understandably. Many government agencies, you can't have a side business unless you have permission. So I have permission, Alexandria Nicole, to have a side business. And that's where I launched a few of the side businesses that I have sold since. But smallbiztechnology.com was started. Then a small business summit. I ran a big event. Started that, and I had family computer consulting services. All three of these small businesses I started at the United Nations, but then I had somebody very jealous of me because I applied for a job they had applied to internally, and I was given that job because I was the better candidate by far. And they were angry, and they started looking into my life, doing everything they could to make my life miserable. And one of them is they made a big stink. Look at him. He has a side business. Now, I had permission to do it, but to appease that person and smooth feathers, that permission was revoked. But I had a taste of entrepreneurship, so I didn't stop the side business. And lo and behold, I got a letter in the mail because I worked for an agency of the UN whose headquarters were somewhere else. And they said, Ramon, basically, you're fired. Your contract is terminated. I had permission. The permission was revoked. This guy made a big stink and made a big mess about it, but I didn't stop. And so they were forced to in my relationship and my contract with the United Nations. Have you ever gone through something where you felt bad? Have you ever gone through something where you felt yucky? Have you ever gone through something that wasn't quite just? Have you ever gone through something where somebody just didn't like you? They didn't like your success and they wanted to pull you down. Have you ever gone through that before like I have? Can you identify with that? What I did just now was talk to you about the power of storytelling. It connects people together. Maybe that's something that Greg has gone through. Maybe that's something Alexandria has gone through. Maybe that's something that Scott has gone through. Maybe that's something that Ray has gone through. When you tell a story that identifies with others, you build better connections. And yes, indeed, Greg, I wouldn't be here today on the Rundown with Ramon and the amazing things I've done, meeting good friends like Scott Simons and so many others, Alexandria Nicole. If I was still at the United Nations, I wouldn't be here today. And so, yes, my point being today was to teach you the power of storytelling, but also a true story to share with you. Keep going on, keep showing up, keep adding value, keep doing what you should do. And if you're doing right and you're moving forward in excellence and success, good things can only happen. The double-edged sword of personal branding, touching on that, ding, 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 ding. Personal branding is amazing and great, but it's a balancing act. The writer here, Divwan Shu in Brains, says it's a balancing act between storytelling and ego. Building a personal brand has become an indispensable tool for professionals looking to carve out their niche, establish authority, and stand out in a crowded marketplace. Storytelling, when done right, is a powerful means of connecting with an audience on a human level. However, storytelling can easily veer into self-aggrandizement if not tempered by humility and authenticity. So the point here is that tell stories, connect with people, but be sure you don't flip and make it all about you and then begin to turn people off. The writer says, lastly, cultivate self-awareness and mindfulness. Regularly reflect on your motives, intentions, and actions, and course correct whenever ego threatens to overshadow authenticity. This is how you can take the power of personal branding and tell a story and draw people in. Let's see some comments from our audience here in the Rundown with Ramon. Keep it about others more than you. Yes, Greg Baker, for sure. Absolutely. I'm glad you received that letter because it lay you to serve us in all the ways you do. Thank you, Alexandra Nicole. Absolutely, for sure. Wouldn't be here today if that wouldn't have happened to me. Kimberly Wyckoff is here in the house. God, you're here, Kimberly Wyckoff. I have firsthand experience. It happened to me. Yes, so we've all gone through something that happened to us, for good or for bad, and we look back at it most of the time and say, hey, I'm glad it happened to me. It was for the good. Everybody, if you didn't know it, you've just joined the Rundown with Ramon. I'm Ramon Ray, 5-time entrepreneur, 5-time author, sold 3 companies. Get to know me better at zoneofgenius.com. Get to know me better at ramonray.com. Let me know how I can serve you as we have our live show we do daily, bringing you the best of how to grow your business, build your best life, and live better every single day. Ding, 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 ding. Curious about this? Leaders need to drop their egos. Here's how they can do it. Ego can be dangerous. There's a new book by Steve Dennis, breaks down how business leaders can transform their teams. Understanding you're probably wrong. As leaders, much of our compensation comes from being right. But there's a problem with being right. When we're convinced we are right, we often grasp too tightly to getting our way, becoming overly attached to the outcome. Sometimes we're wrong, and as leaders, are we able to admit, hey, I was wrong, I made a mistake? There's wisdom in uncertainty. As leaders, many of us are taught to be confident, to exude certainty, to never let them see us sweat. Any wavering is seen as weakness, but absolute certainty does not exist. Sometimes there's things that happen and we don't know. Chapter of this new book says a few things. Assumptions. Grant emphasizes the need to question our assumptions. Number 2, the power of instincts. He encourages readers to be cautious of relying solely on their gut feelings. 4 is habits. Grant suggests that our habits can sometimes hinder our ability to think critically. And understanding as leaders as well, sometimes we just luck into where we are in life, and that's not bad, but we need to understand that. Love this heading here. Gray is my new favorite color. And this is related to the idea of wisdom of uncertainty, is letting go of dualistic thinking and accepting there is a lot more texture and nuance to much of what we need to deal with. Another thing here says, can I be real for a second, for just a millisecond? There are many definitions of vulnerability. For me, it has come to mean having the emotional courage to expose myself and be seen for who I really am and what is really going on with me. Check out this book, Leadership Leap, Transforming Your Company at the Speed of Disruption. So important to know. Jeff Moffitt, glad you're here, Pastor Jeff. We all make mistakes, and leaders who realize that they make mistakes are better leaders. Love it, love it, love it. Deborah Williams talks about her experience has been there with betrayal in the workplace. It worked out in her favor after the initial setback and heartache. It also strengthened Deborah's entrepreneurial muscle. Everybody, my name is Ramon Ray. This is the Rundown with Ramon. All we ask is for a few minutes of your time to give you the top things you need to know to live your best life, or start or grow your business. Curious, how old are you in your head? Pastor Jeff Moffitt, do you consider yourself an old man or a young man? Or is it irrelevant? Deborah Williams, are you an old lady or a young lady? Ray Drummond, old or young? Alexandra Nicole, old or young? Scott Simons, old or young? Kimberly Wyckoff, old or young? The message of the day today says here from Inc., how old are you in your head? The neuroscience of subjective age reveals how to stay mentally young. Research shows our chronological and subjective ages rarely line up and suggest ways to stay mentally youthful. Listen, there's some things out about us that are how are we are biologically. Do we have more graying hair? Does our face have more wrinkles? Is our body more weaker? We all age differently. This is a fact. I have gray hair, but it hasn't come out as much as maybe others. Maybe you're losing your hair earlier. Maybe you're not. So we all age differently physically. But I must say as well, love that Jeff Moffitt said his age is young man. Come on now. Absolutely. But what's interesting about this age, in a way, is a number. There are some 60-year-old people acting like they're 80. There may be some 80-year-old people acting in a good way like they're 50. Their mind is still resilient. Their body's still healthy. Or even if your body feels older, feels infirmed and weak, you can still have a mindset, as Jeff Moffitt said here, I'm a lifetime student, which I think is one sign, one part of having that young mentality for sure. I love that, Greg. Not sure what God has in mind for me, but I feel I have a long time ahead of me. Age is all in the mind, more or less. This article is written by Jessica Stillman, who writes and says, how old do you feel? This long article from Jennifer Senior in The Atlantic offers several fascinating possibilities, as well as great anecdotes from a variety of people about their own inner age. There are theories too. Several people Senior spoke instead suggested their subjective age was frozen at a particular point because of trauma they experienced. Excuse me. Can you change your subjective age? There is no such thing as a correct subjective age, but that doesn't mean you might want to shift your thinking. A study by a team of Swedish researchers published in Proceedings of the Royal Society B Biological Science found that simply getting enough rest for a month made subjects feel on average nearly 6 years younger. Getting more sleep makes you feel younger. That's for sure. If you work out, if you exercise, move your body and eat well, you definitely will feel younger. I love that Deborah Williams saying, just yesterday I was saying that in my head. I am so much younger. However, my experience is old. Love that, love that, love that. Ding, 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 ding. Moving forward, talking about one more topic in today's Rundown with Ramon. How to enjoy life with less money. This is written by Darius Foreau, D-A-R-I-U-S, Darius Foreau. How to enjoy life with less money. He talks about and says, most people can't afford an expensive lifestyle. Most of us cannot. He says social media is a curated reality of seeing what other people have. I see what Scott Simons has and I want it. I see what Jeff Moffitt has and I want it. I see what Deborah Williams has and I want it. I see what Alexandra Nicole has and I want it. I want it. I want it. I want it. We see what others have and we always want more, something different. But the author here, Darius Foreau, writes and says, is it time instead for us to define our happiness? What makes us happy? How can we be happy? Yes, it is nice to have all the things. We may want a fancy car, fancy bling, fancy this, fancy that, a better house. Maybe not even fancy, just functionally better. I get it. I live in a small apartment in Brooklyn, New York for a number of years. Roaches were there, rats were there, and neighbors would make noise and stuff. I don't want to live that way. And so I was able to move somewhere different, and that's okay. But there's also a part about being content and being happy. We can always want all the things all the time and not being content and happy with what we have. As Scott Simons says, live below your means. No matter how much money you have, learn to live below your means. This is important. I love that Ray Drummond says, oh, that's definitely my lifestyle. Happiness is invaluable for sure. Love what Greg Becker's saying here. Take time to pay attention to things that matter more than that would cost us for sure. Take time to pay attention. Love it, love it, love it. Everybody, my name is Ramon Ray. This is the Rundown with Ramon, talking about what does true happiness mean? What does true success mean? And we have the ability to define what that means for each one of us. Ding, 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 ding. This could be the culprit behind your brain fog, sluggishness, and lack of concentration. What might that be? Nutrient deficiency. Can't focus on the task at hand or feeling sluggish beyond the afternoon slump. One possibility could be iron deficiency anemia. What is anemia? The CDC defines IDA anemia as anemia that is caused when people do not get enough iron. It is diagnosed when a blood test shows a hemoglobin value of less than blah, 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 blah. So the point being here, a little medical tip for you today, not medical advice, go see your doctor, but looking here at an article here, maybe your deficiency in iron is limiting how you're showing up. Everybody, my name is Ramon Ray. This is the Rundown with I do one thing alone. If you've enjoyed this show, check us out at zoneofgenius.com. Check us out there. Definitely want you to consider what you really want in life and in business. It's important to ask yourself this: do you even want to be in business or not? Maybe business is not for you, and guess what? That is okay. This is not Shark Tank. There's no commercial bank. There's no team of sharks smiling at you. There's no do-overs. This is life. Are you hungry enough to get to where you want to be in business? And ask yourself this: what is your pricing like? Is it at a premium or is it the cheapest pricing on the block? Pricing is so important. And finally, I want you to ask yourself, I challenge you to ask yourself this question, Kimberly. Ask yourself this question, Greg. Ask yourself this question, Alexandra Nicole. Ask yourself this question, Scott Simons. What do you do best? What do you do best? And what can you have the privilege to get paid to do? And you'll never feel you're working a day in your life, Kimberly. Never feel you're working a day in your life, Greg. My name is Ramon Ray. This is the Rundown with Ramon. So glad you're here today. All we do is one thing and one thing alone: help you live your best life or start or grow your business. If you've enjoyed this show, do me a favor, take a screenshot, take a selfie, take a share it out to somebody else, put a comment on there, let somebody know you're watching. Take a screenshot and tag me on social, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, whatever you like. And let's make the world a better place. DM somebody, call somebody today and let them know that they matter, because I want to tell you today, I want to let you know today, you matter. Ray Drummond, you matter. Jeff Moffitt, veteran, who's gone through so many things in life and always shows up with a smile. You matter. Alexandra Nicole, thank you for the light you are in this world. Everybody, my name is Ramon Ray. Have a great day today. Be blessed. And thanks for being here. And let's make this world a better place. I'm sure going to do that today. Look at every opportunity I can to go impact and help somebody in their life. Thanks for being here. See you next time on the next Rundown with Ramon. That's a wrap. We're done. Adios. Buenas noches. Arigato. Hi. See you later. Thanks for being here. This is the next edition. I will see you next on the next edition of the Rundown with Ramon.